What's up, everybody? I'm Llama77, and welcome back to the TEC High School League here for our week number 8 preview. Alright, let's get down to Division 1, and starting with Greater Johnstown and their 2-0 victory over Bishop Guilfoyle. Box in their 34 elimination leads the squad and improves Greater Johnstown's record to 3-3. Moving on to Ferndale versus Chartiers Houston, in which Ferndale took a 2-0 victory. Led by Gabe Morris, a Widow 21, who almost accrued 20,000 damage in one game. 34 eliminations led the squad to that 2-0 victory. Next up, we had Penn Trafford facing off against the Boyertown Bears. Penn Trafford take the 2-0 victory and also get to improve their record with another win. Peridot King, almost 40 eliminations in the entire game, 39 in total. We'll see if they can hit the 40 mark sometime another week. Next up, we had Portage Area facing off against Bishop Guilfoyle, who was playing in a doubleheader that day. Portage Area would walk away with a 2-0 victory led by the entire team, getting tons of eliminations. However, Face the Mace ended up with 31, a ton of damage numbers, and almost 5,000 healing as well. Finally, Greater Johnstown would also have their doubleheader. Unfortunately, they would lose their second match 0-2 to the West Branch area school. West Branch now improving their record once again, and also being led by the 28 elimination Baldiff. Done with Division 1 and now moving down to Division 2 for that week number 7, starting off with Penn Trafford versus West Branch. Penn Trafford would take a 2-0 victory, sticking with the norm of not going to a map number 3. All of their team would get involved, but it would be the 30 bomb from Spect Venom to be able to win that series. Moving on to another Division 2 matchup, Franklin Regional, the new standout school, would take a 2-0 victory over Chartiers Houston. Again, all of the squad getting involved, but it's Mateo being the star leader, dropping 7,000 damage and 27 eliminations. Still sticking with Division 2 and moving on to the notable Forest Hills Ranger squad, they would take a 2-0 victory over Westmont Hilltop. This would improve the Forest Hills record to 6-1 on the season, tying them for first place overall. Next up, we had Portage Area and Salisbury Elklick going at it. Portage Area would win 2-0, again continuing the trend of not going to a map number 3. Ayo It's Neo would almost drop a 40 bomb though, 37 total eliminations and 22,000 damage to end off the series. Starting up our string of 3-game series, Penn Trafford would take a 2-1 victory over Uniontown. 2 players able to drop 40 bombs in the series, 46 for Plain Beggle and 43 for Claret Cabe. Second last matchup of the week, Moshannon Valley versus West Branch. Moshannon would actually be able to pick up their first win of the season, taking a 2-1 victory over West Branch. Hard fought, and going into game number 3, Esports 3, piloted by Theodore, would pick up 26 eliminations and lead the squad to a game 3 victory. Our final game of the night would feature Greater Johnstown and Franklin Regional. Both of these two teams finding success earlier in the season, but Franklin Regional found success here in this match, taking the 2-1 victory and going all 3 games. Once again, the kill counters were absolutely everywhere. 48 eliminations picked up by Banana Boat, and Greater Johnstown also had some standout stars, with Velocity picking up 55 kills as well. Let's take a look at our power rankings for Division 1 for this upcoming week number 8. And as well, let's take a look at our Division 2 power rankings here for this upcoming week number 8. We can move away from our power rankings and now show the overall standings for the Division 1 week number 8. Still continuing with our overall standings, but moving to Division 2, showing who is doing good in week number 8. Alright, let's take a look at our matches for this upcoming week number 8 of Division 1 Overwatch. The matchup I'm looking forward to is Forest Hills versus Penn Trafford. Not only does it feature two teams that are fighting for their playoff seeding, but also two very big names of the TEC series. Still sticking with our upcoming matches, let's take a look at Division 2 and their schedule for this upcoming week number 8. The matchup I'm specifically watching out for is Franklin Regional versus Penn Trafford. These are two teams that are both looking for that number 1 overall seed headed into playoffs and will sure to be a banger. Thank you all so much for watching the Week 8 preview here for the TEC High School Series. This isn't the only content piece we are running, so make sure to go check out our Twitter, our YouTube, and more. We also stream every single weekday except Friday. We've got Valorant on Mondays. We've got High School Rocket League on Tuesdays. Overwatch on Wednesdays, because we just updated Overwatch here. You gotta go follow all the streams. And we've got Middle School Rocket League on Thursday. You will not want to miss it. My name has been Llama77. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the TEC High School Series featuring Overwatch. We have our Week 8 matchups all ready to go. And to start it off this afternoon, we've got Forest Hills versus Penn Trafford.
Yeah, this one's going to be a fun game to watch. In fact, this isn't the only Penn Trafford match that we have to watch today. No sense in hiding what we've got for you guys for the show today from y'all. After this match is going to be a game between Penn Trafford and Winber Area Esports. That's going to be the number 1, number 2 seed team right there against the number 3. That's going to be Penn Trafford looking for another dub here against Forest Hills. Going to be starting off on Ilios this afternoon. And this is a map pool that we'll see throughout all 3 series that we're playing today. It's going to be Ilios, Junkertown, New Junk City, all the way up until our last matchup between Salisbury Elk and Moshannon Valley Joker. I'm actually really excited to see the Gaming Nights today. That's going to be our only D2 match of the day. And you know that I love talking about how good the D2 kids are. But we got a D1 match of some... we actually have 2 D1 matches of some pretty serious stakes to cover first before we get to the fun of the D2 matches.
Yeah, so taking a look at the state rankings as well for the D1 teams. This Penn Trafford team, top 10, top 8, if you will, because the top 7. Saying top 7 kind of sounds weird, right? So and then this Forest Hill squad, top 30, middle of the pack, around there. So this should be a really good matchup. Again, this is a really good sign if Forest Hills can do something well against them in this series here.
I'm really excited to see Strike Force on the Sombra here from Forest Hills, and in Penn Trafford, you know, talking about how they're doing in the standings is quite topical because they run this relentless composition. It's incurred some changes with some of the patch notes that went through yesterday, but already a fight breaking out where both teams get to really play at full strength from Season 9.
As Baseman is already going to come in and take Thin Blade out of the fight early on into this, and that should just allow Penn Trafford to take this first fight coming in. Strike Force goes down as well. Period in the back line. Still punching it out. Thrasher taking down Oliver as well. And yeah, Penn Trafford take a clean first fight.
Yeah, really clean. Forest Hills, it's just losing people early is going to cripple that composition. This is the Ramatra Rush composition. This is a Sombra variant, and so you really want to make sure that people are living long enough for you to set up those plays. And with Toasty Boy and Strike Force both going down, you don't have your DPS passive, so it doesn't make sense to push here.
Yeah, now looking good already for this fight. The punch comes through from Thrasher. Everything's going up for Penn Trafford right now. Punch coming through again. Yeah, ults are already on the board for him. And speaking of which, there comes out the Meteor Strike, and going to be taking Strike Force down is Thrasher. And that should wrap it up yet again. But keep fighting it out. Why not? I mean, you've got more time to kill with every kill you get on the board for Penn Trafford, and well, Thrasher's just going wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone has to be on Forest Hills. Someone has to be the brake pedal that gets pushed here on Thrasher because they aren't going to be pumping the brakes themselves. In fact, their attacks are going to be amplified by the rest of the composition behind them. Look at the ultimates that they have on standby. Sound Barrier and Blizzard probably going to get committed this fight.
Yeah, Sound Barrier probably going to be invested by... Oh, never mind. Brain Drain won't be able to invest that in this fight, and, well, nothing else nothing might need to get invested. Coalescence is going to come through, though, from Thin Blade there to try to stabilize somehow, some way, but it's just not going to happen right now, as Strike Force did go rotate to the point through in Viz, but no, they are still going to go down. Penn Trafford are on the cusp of taking round number 1.
They are 8 seconds to go, and the only thing that you can really hope for is Strike Force or Toasty Boy managing to land a touch of the objective. Toasty Boy isn't going to be quite so fortunate, and it appears as if Strike Force wasn't able to touch in time. So with Ruins out of the way, we get to move on to Lighthouse or Well, where things invariably get to stay pretty interesting, especially here on the side of Penn Trafford. I'll say it, hodgepodge composition. I don't know what a May is doing in there with a Doomfist, but it's working so far for Penn Trafford, and honestly, Blizzard gives them a chilling win condition. And so for Penn Trafford to switch anything up here, I would advise is a terrible idea, even if I do cast a little bit of ire towards the May. For Forest Hills, I think that I'm thinking about timing right now, Joker. I'm just thinking about like the 3-2-1 counts that you do before you make any play or go for any setup. Is you're always like, okay, here's my target, here's my timing, 3, 2, 1, and I'm curious if that will, if the timing is what will help Forest Hills do a lot more in this map, or if it's something more fundamental, if it's a compositional thing, if it's an awareness thing. Either way, Forest Hills on a new map get the chance to have a second go on this rush comp.
Yeah, and I mean, I know some people don't like running it, especially, well, I think you might have to run it. We're in the midst of all this, while I'm jabbering away, I'll tell you what I was thinking after this fight is all over, but it pretty much is just done and dusted. However, Toasty Boy is going to take down Coops out of the fight. But I think there is only a few members left, especially with Thin Blade going down. Toasty Boy is going to get caught out there. What I was thinking is, I know people don't really like to run it. They think it's boring, but I think the Orisa, yeah, I think the Orisa would be very big if Oliver brought it in here. I know it's boring, but I think right now, oh, there's a disconnect. No, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so we're going to get a pause. Ooh, you and I get to speak our mind. How dangerous.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is, you know, like, I think with with how, you know, aggro this composition from Penn Trafford is, you really need the stable force that Orisa can bring to a composition. And
Yeah.
I know that is a little bit more difficult if you're not as, I mean, you don't even have to be that well versed on Orisa because Orisa is a simple tank, right? You can still do very well in competitive sense if you haven't had, you know, like the most time on said hero, right?
Yeah.
So I think it would really benefit Forest Hills right now to rotate over to that, move over to that Orisa, move over to something not. I I don't want to say not the Moira because the Moira can just out heal everything that Penn Trafford is running, but I would think moving over to the Kiriko to give you that sustain, give you that ability to get uh cleansed of things, get that the Kitsune rush, which I mean it's probably the one of the best alts in the game, right? Like you're kind of displacing
Yeah.
yourself without not
Uh,
having that.
Kiriko
Um
is the poster child for
yeah,
Overwatch too. They love her.
yeah. So other than that, I mean, the Reaper and the May could still work with the Orisa composition,
Hmm.
especially if you're not feeling comfortable with, say, the meta DPS, which would be like, which would be um Sojourn, which would be um Tracer. You
Yeah.
can still run it, right?
Yeah.
I think those are my takes right now. I think we just need to see a compositional switch, and I think we see a little bit more fight out of Forest Hills.
That's interesting, Joker. Before my 2-minute rebuttal, I actually wanted to mention the disconnect that we had is from Coops, who
Mhm.
I was just like relentlessly flaming for being on May in a highly mobile, like highly aggressive Doomfist composition. I'm sorry, Coops,
Yeah,
come back.
it is.
I
It is
trashed the
odd.
May, but I really like watching Coops play. They'll be
Well,
back in
yeah,
what's up,
it is.
Joker?
It is odd, like to think about, because why are you playing May in a Doomfist?
I don't know. My experience with compositions, and the reason that I wanted to have my rebuttal to you, Joker, was because my experience is twofold. Number one, that is to lock in a composition that all contributes to one core identity. That's going to be your Sojourn, Lucio, Kiri, Monkey, Tracer comp. What do all those characters have in common? Well, Monkey's bubble is a 10-second cooldown. Sojourn disruption shot is a 12-second cooldown. Give it a little bit of leeway in there, and you have a really nice timing for breaking a monkey bubble every single time he jumps, or having follow-up to the monkey bubble and making sure that they can't shield dance your monkey by placing a disruptor shot in there, right? Get a little bit of extra damage with your monkey's Tesla cannon. In addition to that, Sojourn slide is a 7-second cooldown. Carry TP is a 6-second cooldown, right? So you end up with some really nice timings between all of these characters. You also think back in the days of early Overwatch 1, back when Sojourn's disruption shot used to do some slowing. Oh God, wasn't that terrible? And you know what teams used to do was when Ramatra released, they would combine the Ramatra Vortex, Ravenous Vortex, and the Sojourn Disruptor Shot, right? So there you have two characters who can contribute to that identity of we can control entire areas, corridors, and secure picks off of it. What are the other characters that help us do that? May is a good example of a character that fits into that composition. You get a little bit of crowd control, some angle control, right? Stuff like that. And so that's why that's why I pick on Coops. Coops is a good sport, but but you're right. You know, like what does the May contribute to that? There has to be something though, because Penn Trafford runs. I mean, Coops is on the May regularly, and I mean they're always getting something done.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, the reason for our disconnect was a PC overheating, and our wonderful observer slash producer,
That's
Man,
funny.
did say it is quite ironic that they were playing May and that PC heated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I agree with you. I was just thinking during your spiel, reminding me of old disruptor shot. Imagine
Yeah.
a composition with uh
May
Ramatra
Sojourn.
Ramatra May Sojourn, and then Brigida and Lucio probably, or
It
Zen.
sounds terrible, especially
You
with how
know.
egregious Lucio's boop has been made to be.
Yeah.
Um,
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, please. Oh my goodness. I'm amazed that no one else has talked about it as much as I have. I expected to see fires set ablaze on Twitter about the fact that Lucio's boop has still not gotten nerfed. In fact, it got
It
a
got
damage
yeah.
redistribution buff, which is insane to me. Aaron Keller, if you watch this, what are you guys doing? Yeah, the
Imagine.
boop is egregious. That thing
Aaron
sends you
Keller is just joining.
careening into you ever play D&D Forgotten Realms to
No,
connect players to different dimensions. You go to what are called Concord Gems and the Radiant Citadel. Yeah, Lucio's boop sends you careening across dimensions into the Radiant Citadel to go on a venture with your friends.
speaking of which,
I'm gonna chill
can we
out. Stuff
can we
time.
play D&D like for casters, but like not casters and castles because we're not cool enough for that?
That's true. We aren't cool enough for that. I actually ran an Overwatch themed D&D session one time with a UB varsity team. We were like playing the PVE before the PVE actually released in August. I think it was in August actually. It was a lot of fun. We're back to the game now, folks, and with Coops back in, they don't have the ults or they don't have the Blizzard, but you've got other ultimates that you've been generating here on the side of Penn Trafford, still in control at this point.
Yeah, here it is gonna go down, but and another nice pick coming in as well from Forest Hills, but Thrasher's still alive, and we've seen that if Thrasher's alive, things can still happen in the favor of Penn Trafford. And like that, 3 kills coming for the Doomfist, and Penn Trafford just stays in. Now they'll make it 4. Can we see a 5th kill coming in from Thrasher? No, Strike Force is gonna take them down with a swap over to the May. Just a nice little change of pace for Forest Hills here, but it's not looking too good still. 55 and counting.
Yeah, and they don't really have a purchase on the on an entrance to the objective. It's not just that they can't control the point; they're having a hard time getting through there in the first place. It was a really nice pulse bomb deployment. Just went right over Toasty Boy's head. Toasty Boy ready possibly to let it rip with this Death Blossom.
The Death Blossom can find some good value, especially if you're sped into places with Brain Drain. They need to stay alive, but Thin Blades made the swap over to the Weaver. Death Blossom coming in, but no speed boost to keep them in range of everyone else. This Toasty Boy's going swimming in the endless pit, and going to be sent back to spawn with the rest of Forest Hills. 93, 94, 95. And that should be about it for the round number 1. Map number 1 goes in the favor of Penn Trafford.
This is a really interesting day that we have ahead of us, because looking at Penn Trafford from this matchup to the next game that we're going to have for you guys against Winber, I know we're not quite there yet, Forest Hills. We give you guys your due recognition, but all eyes on Penn Trafford here for this afternoon as they go from matchup to matchup that really should challenge them in different ways each time. Forest Hills still looking for the opportunity to capitalize on a mistake, a mishap, a misadventure, as Raphael from Baldur's Gate 3 might put it.
Marvelous misadventures of Flapjack?
Yeah, exactly. Wait, sounds like a Cartoon Network show.
It is a Cartoon Network. It was a Cartoon Network.
I get that reference. No, I don't actually. I never.
That was
I didn't
a weird.
watch TV growing up. I didn't watch TV growing up. My parents didn't like it. It
That
melts
was-
your brain, kind of stuff.
That was a weird show. I'm gonna say it now. Good show. Really weird. A lot of those, a lot of those shows, if you watch back, are kind of weird, right?
Yeah, I get that. I see
They're
it on
so
my like a
good.
YouTube recommended feed. It's like the Cartoon Network show moments out of context. We need one of those for you and me, Joker. We need Joker and Lord Ethan moments out of context and just see what kinds of schizophrenic stuff we say on.
I don't think we'd get
air.
hired again if that was ever released.
We'd be done here at TEC, that's for sure, Joker.
Done everywhere. Just out of context moments. Yeah, no, we'd be done. But now, you'd be canceled time and time again because all the things you say.
Goodness, it'd be over. It'd be so over for me. I'd be finished. Anyone who wants to, anyone who with a grudge against me, hey, it could be Coops. If Coops has a grudge against me, that'd be an easy way to do it.
It should be me. I'll just do it.
Let's add let's add a little bit of context to the series. Moving into Junkertown, Forest Hills, like I mentioned earlier, they're still looking for the chance to capitalize on a mistake or a huge play that they can make to give themselves a little bit more agency. But if there's anything that you and I are going to be desperate for here in the booth, Joker, it is going to be to see Forest Hills get a little bit of that agency, taking us to Junkertown and ending up on this really stalwart composition that might be an opening to a play to be made here, but I think that we'll still have to end up seeing a swap or two before we really end up on an identity that Forest Hills can work with.
I love this composition. I just don't like the supports. I don't really like.
Epp and Brig are so tough right now.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
like.
say it.
Again, I mean, Lucio's just kind of a must pick, right? Like, you still have to run Lucio. You kind of still have to run Fury. We've seen Ana move over back into relevancy because we've seen in OWCS Winston coming back into relevancy as well. But you're not really running a Winston, right? You're running Doomfist. So, I mean, it's still kind of the same deal as you're going to go in, you're going to take down Brain Drain, and Thrasher's going to look for more, and Thinblade goes down, and both your supports now not there. So, honestly, I think you have to run a more mobile composition in this, unless you're landing the whip shots, unless you're landing the stuns. And right now, we're not seeing that from Forest Hills.
No, not quite yet. We're seeing a lot of Penn Trafford in the kill feed too. Now there is a little bit of credit due to Toasty Void with a really nice pick on the basement in the midst of the chaos there, but they will end up going down, and Cart is going to progress uncontested towards this first checkpoint. It's no secret that Forest Hills has the chance to contest here. What is more occluded is whether or not it's a good idea too.
Yeah, I expect we see the... Oh, they just gave it up without... Touch. No, they just stopped before anyone touched. They definitely had it, but Fury is going to come in, take Finblade out. And Toasty Boy is going to turn the back mount. There's still an opportunity as the Pulse Bomb comes through, but Coops is going, with Coops going down, but it still seems like not enough damage coming in from the Forest Hills squad. It is just Oliver P coming in. Now, I think this is the perfect opportunity to be going over to maybe Orisa if you're Oliver here. I don't know. I like the Sigma. I like the Sigma choice, but again, I think you need to have this.
That's a nice counterbash.
It's a nice counterbash indeed. But now they're going right on top of them, and Brain Drain is the first to go down. And I think that honestly, Brain Drain's been the first pick every single fight, and it's all thanks to Thrasher just being able to do whatever they want. And I think we need to see a drastic switch up to see just shut down Thrasher, and that's what I'm excited for the next series. I wonder if Winver can do that.
Also, I'll keep it a buck with you. I'm a little bit worried about the next series. Winver might be set up to take the first to take the first loss of the season.
Yeah.
Penn Trafford is a really good team. I know that we're getting to the chance to highlight a lot of the mishaps that are happening on Forest Hill's side right now. But the fact is that you mentioned it. You know, part of the reason that Brain Drain is dying early in some of these crucial fights is because Thrasher is just good enough to go in and get their value and then get back out. How you can make hero swaps against that, and I know that you like the Sigma and would love to see the Orisa here as well. But even then, there's got to be a little bit of counterplay too, right? Not charging the blocks, making sure that you're not playing too far forward during the setup phases of these fights, and also making sure that you know when he has meter strike.
Well, the biggest thing is too, you just need to have coordinated team play, and we're not really seeing that as much as I would like right now. But we'll see. The Kitsune Rush is going to come in. This is a perfect chance for Penn Trafford to keep going. The Banana Boost coming in on it to Thrasher is going to help Penn Trafford keep things going their way. And I'm not going to keep talking about the next series because we're still in this one. But I mean, right now, I mean, it really seems to be lack of coordination. And I hate to see that because I love Forest Hills, I love Grove, but unfortunately I think they're just outmatched right now, and Poops is just gonna just do it to him with the tactical visor. Finds out the DPS. Unknown Roses comes in, takes down Thin Blade as well, and that's gonna wrap things up with the last kill going on to Oliver.
Yeah, it's the ultimate luxury of being a strong team, is the fact that, you know, dispatch a threat and there will be two more to take its place. You know, you run up on that Ana who's been hanging out in the back lines, or the Weaver who's sitting on his pedal keeping the team alive, and next thing you know, there's a Tracer and a Doomfist who have turned around just for you, right? An experience in solo queue ranked that we shrug off and say, okay, they're actually calming in solo queue ranked, what a bunch of weirdos, right? But then you take yourself to you know, real competitive Overwatch environment, and you see that that's exactly how you have to play the game. You just, every single one of you has to be constantly threatening, and it's easy to be threatening when you've got as many ultimates as you're able to build and hold on to for some of those key fights, like the last one that we got to see. For Forest Hills, there's absolutely a myriad of things that we could see that will give them more agency in this fight, and that is really what we want to see. But also, Penn Trafford is winning this really cleanly. Coops, you are still on a weird character, bro. I don't know how Soldier fits in, but you're making him work. So I love seeing it. Soldier 76 is one of my personal favorites.
And I don't know if they just don't feel comfortable playing Sojourn, or What? Because
like
like-
Sojourn has a 6-second slide. The timings work out better. She fits.
she just fits better, and it's just a lot easier to combo with Thrasher on the Doomfist.
We're as bad as the rest of them, Joker. We're out here telling the high schoolers to meta game. Oh no!
I know. I don't like to
Old
tell
and
them the
jaded.
I know. We're those we're the old heads in basketball now that say, no, it was better when it was better when we played the game, right?
Even though it's definitively not true. That's so funny though. Oh,
Toasty Boy and actually Toasty Boy and a couple picks have gone the way of Forest Hills already. Coops is gonna try to turn it back though. They've taken Strike Force out. The Thrasher is very low and they're kind of in no man's land right now. Another pick does come through. Thrasher's still up and healthy, getting the healing in from Unknown Roses, but Coops is gonna go somehow, some way, was literally on 1 HP and stays alive, but Thrasher now going down, and this is what I'm liking to see from Forest Hills. They must have heard us finally, but
oh, what a nice pulse bomb.
Yeah, they did hear us, but unfortunately, they all were a little grouped up, and Period saw them and took, come on, wait, no, go get your 5K. Go get your 5K.
You're gonna go get the ace. The moment might have.
Yeah, the moment has passed. Ruined. Pulse Bomb did come out though from Toasty Boy, and Oliver's gonna be able to take them down. The Tree of Life coming in now from Thin Blade as well. I believe Lifeweaver also got a. Was it a kit change or?
He got 2 buffs, and I don't know why.
Because he needed a buff.
I hate that character.
Well, you're a rude person. Lifeweaver is so awesome.
They're kind of fun to play. Like, unironically, I kind of like playing them sometimes.
Exactly. So, but again, the sound barrier is going to be huge, and now Coops is going to be able to use that tactical visor, find out Brain Drain, who's over onto the Moira this time. Overclock coming in from Strike Force. This could be huge, but no, they're just met with the punch and, well, taken down. This is just wrapping up again for Penn Trafford.
Forest Hills with a little less than 2 minutes. There's the possibility to make something of this here. It's going to be tough to continue scraping past the rest of the formation of Penn Trafford, but there's something to get done here. I wanted to highlight Strike Force. I think that this might be the first time that I've actually ever seen them.
Yeah.
This might be their debut D1 game, and I actually wanted to
get past them in Division 2 either.
No, this might be like a brand new face to me. So I wanted to shout them out, and I know that Forest Hills, this is not their series to win right now. It doesn't seem that way, right? But that doesn't mean that they're playing poorly. And I think Strike Force is a great example of how Forest Hills is conjuring these pop-off moments. Like, oh man, like they could have right there, so close to getting Thrasher. There's so much care.
It's so hard to deal with Thrasher because I mean, I can say that. Oh, you need just a little bit of a teamwork to deal with Thrasher, but Thrasher gets literally everything invested into them to stay alive. To this literally, like, I hate bringing it back to like Bumper, but this is like Bumper levels of resources going into them. But they're staying alive, which is the crazy part. Toasty Boy though has come in clutch off the back of that the Gravitic Flux coming in from Oliver, and now Forest Hills have gotten things open, but there's only 13 seconds to go here. Lord Deason.
I really like this. We saw Toasty Boy pop off with the Flux and the Tree that both got committed in places that you might want to commit those ultimates later down this point, but I really like Forest Hills not cutting costs here. Use everything if it means winning.
Thrasher's found Toasty Boy, sound barrier coming in, and I think that might just be the nail in the coffin for Forest Hills because they do not have that overhealth to give them that space to move as freely as they'd like to, and the pedal platform goes away. Pulse Bomb is out, and all the maybe Brain Drain found Coops out. Meteor Strike Punches come through from Thrasher, looking for a punch. A lot of people are low. No, Roses has now gone down. Brain Drain might have helped hold on for the moment for Forest Hills. As Toasty Boys come back, found out basement. Now Thrasher goes down. This is huge for Forest Hills. They might be able to stay going as Toasty Boy finds another pick. As Toasty Boy and Brain Drain save the map for Forest Hills.
We're going to get in so much trouble for like being biased, sitting here talking about how great Penn Trafford is, and then the moment that Forest Hills starts winning, you got me and Joker like jumping up and down in our seats, fist pump in the air, like, yeah, Forest Hills.
We're fans.
I just want to see, because I know it. I know the suffering that is not being able to play the game that you want, right? And so that's all that I want to see from all of these teams. Tough to play, though. You got a visor from Goops to play into and survive Strikeforce.
Yeah, Coops is already coming in. They found Strike Force, but that's all they're going to find with that tactical visor. But that's all they need, because in the end, Penn Trafford are able to come back and hold on.
They are. They aren't holding on with any ults, though, compared to the lineup for Forest Hills. So you've actually got some opportunities, not really to make a play or secure a pick, but really just to crack open the defenses a little bit, like you're opening up an urchin for some fish to chomp out of, but you gotta live here first to use those ults.
Yeah, as Pulse Bomb comes in, a lot of damage is taken, though, from the punch coming in from Thrasher. Brain Drain is kind of caught there as well. Gonna be able to fade away, but perhaps not like Kobe. Well, actually, they do. They are going to be able to stay alive and stay in the fight for the moment, but other than that, yeah, there it goes down. Did they rework Junkertown?
Yeah. Junkertown actually got a couple of changes, some changes to make it a little bit less less frightening to play against Widow players. A really great overclock there from Strikeforce eliminates Coops. They got a frog in the backline to deal with, but I like their priorities right now, making sure that Thrashers snatch up the objective, but they're left behind by the rest of the Forest Hills squad. Where's the team?
Yeah, I don't think they need that soundbite either, though. Still going to be able to hold on. 30 seconds remaining here for Penn Trafford between victory and resting before their matchup between Winber. But still, they're going to go in. Nice punch coming in, and that might just be the end of it all here. Deadeye finds 2 from Period. They are going to get fluxed up, but taken down in the midst of it is going to come through. 5 seconds remaining. There's no second chance. This is for Forest Hills here, as that is going to be that. Penn Trafford take the map and the series 2-0.
I always want to see more, Joker.
Oh, yeah.
That's my...
The downfall of having a first to 2, right?
Yeah. You know, honestly, I was also gonna like get really real. It's like one of my big flaws as a person is just that I cannot be sated. And Overwatch is a really good example. Getting to watch the high school Overwatch, I don't want to be done. Not with Penn Trafford, not with Forest Hills, and especially, oh man, Joker, we're getting to the end of the season too.
I know.
And I don't want to think about having to say goodbye at the end of it. This isn't goodbye, nothing so meaningful happening here. Just 2 old men thinking, I want to watch more. We don't get that from Forest Hills, not at least this week, Joker, though hopefully next week. And again, big shout out to Strikeforce. Like I said, maybe you've been in before, but I haven't
maybe they
seen
changed their
Strikeforce.
name or something. I don't know.
Yeah, quite possibly. But I felt like they played really well today. I also really liked Oliver on the Sigma. I know that we didn't get to talk too much about Forest Hill and what they were doing. It was a lot of Penn Trafford, and really for Penn Trafford, Thrasher is watching Thrasher is really what convinces me that the Doom rework from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2 was a really like. It was a final act of benevolence from Jeff Goodman before he left the hero design team.
Yeah, I have to agree with you here. We are going to head to a short little break, though, and then when we come back, 2 top 10 Overwatch teams in Pennsylvania are going to be clashing. Winber versus Penn Trafford. That is the series of maybe the entire series of this spring 2024. You are going to want to watch that. So stick around. We'll be right back after this.
Portage area would walk away with a 2-0 victory led by the entire team, getting tons of eliminations. However, Face the Mace ended up with 31, a ton of damage numbers, and almost 5,000 healing as well. Finally, Greater Johnstown would also have their doubleheader. Unfortunately, they would lose their second match 0-2 to the West Branch area school. West Branch now improving their record once again, and also being led by the 28 elimination Baldiv. Done with Division 1 and now moving down to Division 2 for that week number 7, starting off with Penn Trafford versus West Branch. Penn Trafford would take a 2-0 victory, sticking with the norm of not going to a map number 3. All of their team would get involved, but it would be the 30 bomb from Spect Venom to be able to win that series. Moving on to another Division 2 matchup, Franklin Regional, the new standout school, would take a 2-0 victory over Chartiers Houston. Again, all of the squad getting involved, but it's Mateo being the star leader, dropping 7,000 damage and 27 eliminations. Still sticking with Division 2 and moving on to the notable Forest Hills Ranger squad, they would take a 2-0 victory over Westmont Hilltop. This would improve the Forest Hills record to 6-1 on the season, tying them for first place overall. Next up, we had Portage Area and Salisbury Elklick going at it. Portage Area would win 2-0, again continuing the trend of not going to a map number 3. Ayo Itznia would almost drop a 40 bomb though, 37 total eliminations and 22,000 damage to end off the series. Starting up our string of 3-game series, Penn Trafford would take a 2-1 victory over Uniontown. 2 players able to drop 40 bombs in the series, 46 for Plain Beggle and 43 for Claret Cabe. Second last matchup of the week, Moshannon Valley versus West Branch. Moshannon would actually be able to pick up their first win of the season, taking a 2-1 victory over West Branch. Hard fought, and going into game number 3, Esports 3, piloted by Theodore, would pick up 26 eliminations and lead the squad to a game 3 victory. Our final game of the night would feature Greater Johnstown and Franklin Regional. Both of these two teams finding success earlier in the season, but Franklin Regional found success here in this match, taking the 2-1 victory and going all 3 games. Once again, the kill counters were absolutely everywhere. 48 eliminations picked up by Banana Boat, and Greater Johnstown also had some standout stars, with Velocity picking up 55 kills as well. Let's take a look at our power rankings for Division 1 for this upcoming week number 8. And as well, let's take a look at our Division 2 power rankings here for this upcoming week number 8. We can move away from our power rankings and now show the overall standings for the Division 1 week number 8. Still continuing with our overall standings, but moving to Division 2, showing who is doing good in week number 8. Alright, let's take a look at our matches for this upcoming week number 8 of Division 1 Overwatch. The matchup I'm looking forward to is Forest Hills versus Penn Trafford. Not only does it feature two teams that are fighting for their playoff seeding, but also two very big names of the TEC series. Still sticking with our upcoming matches, let's take a look at Division 2 and their schedule for this upcoming week number 8. The matchup I'm specifically watching out for is Franklin Regional versus Penn Trafford. These are two teams that are both looking for that number 1 overall seed headed into playoffs and will sure to be a banger. Thank you all so much for watching the Week 8 preview here for the TEC High School Series. This isn't the only content piece we are running, so make sure to go check out our Twitter, our YouTube, and more. We also stream every single weekday except Friday. We've got Valorant on Mondays. We've got High School Rocket League on Tuesdays. Overwatch on Wednesdays, because we just updated Overwatch here. You gotta go follow all the streams. And we've got Middle School Rocket League on Thursday. You will not want to miss it. My name has been Llama77. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. What's up, everybody? I'm Llama77, and welcome back to the TEC High School League here for our week number 8 preview. Alright, let's get down to Division 1, and starting with Greater Johnstown and their 2-0 victory over Bishop Guilfoyle. Box in their 34 elimination leads the squad and improves Greater Johnstown's record to 3-3. Moving on to Ferndale versus Chartiers Houston, in which Ferndale took a 2-0 victory. Led by Gabe Morris, a Widow 21, who almost accrued 20,000 damage in one game. 34 eliminations led the squad to that 2-0 victory. Next up, we had Penn Trafford facing off against the Boyertown Bears. Penn Trafford take the 2-0 victory and also get to improve their record with another win. Peridot King, almost 40 eliminations in the entire game, 39 in total. We'll see if they can hit the 40 mark sometime another week. Next up, we had Portage Area.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is time for the match of the afternoon. This is the match between Winburn and Penn Trafford. Number 3 in the state in Winburn, and number 7 in the state in Penn Trafford. This should be an absolute banger. This should be, hopefully, a map 3 series here. And I think this is really where we're going to see Penn Trafford's composition to be put to the test.
Yes, there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is going to be some proficiencies in the backline of Winber to live, survive, use the map, and dash around. I think in particular, watching over the last season or so, Gage and their Kiriko has been a lot of fun to watch. Joker. Another element of it is the fact that as long as the fight goes on and Garrett, Mr. Gary, is alive, then he is picking apart your team as Hanzo. We're going to start off on Ilios well here, Joker. I don't know for sure that Hanzo is who gets played here by Mr. Gary. I know that Andres probably locks the Orisa. Yep. And so you end up with a really interesting and adept matchup between both of these teams where both of them are committed to compositions that aren't completely devoted to an identity, but that are really well designed to dispatch each other and sustain a war of attrition, which is exactly what both of these comps really thrive in. One is a lot more mobile, that's going to be Penn Trafford's, and the key for them is going to be using that mobility to make sure that they are avoiding Mr. Gary's lethality. For Winber, it is a protect the president, be a protective shell around Mr. Gary to make sure that those picks roll in. And then, of course, you do have extra pressure from Timmy. Timmy's really slept on from Winber, I'll say it.
I really like this look, and I think it is a good counter to what...
Looks like we have a pause request coming in here, though.
Yeah, we do indeed. Or the mouse died or basement.
It's tough. You can't play Lucio without mouse.
Unfortunately. Sure you can.
Actually, you could. You could. I play as if I don't have a mouse on Lucio on a daily basis. In fact, my ranks teammates don't appreciate it.
Yeah, that's just because you're bad.
Or I don't have a mouse.
Yeah.
No, I have a mouse. It's right here. It's a Corsair M65.
No, aren't you cool? Aren't you
I really like my Corsair hardware.
cool?
I wish the M65s didn't break though. My first M65 Joker, I had it for like 8 years, and it worked perfectly for 8 years. And then now every M65 I get like breaks after like 6 to 8 months. It's so sad.
I have a Razer Death Adder V2.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, something like that. But we'll see here now. It is going to be difficult. They need to take the angles if you are going to be Penn Trafford here. They're already looking to get in onto Mr. Gary in the backline. This GG man's going to be the one to go down first and foremost. The punch comes through and almost Andres goes down, but Andres still falls nonetheless. This is going to be the fight going the way of Penn Trafford.
Yeah, but pay really close attention to exactly how much damage Thrasher takes in some of these fights. You're going to see a lot more pressure applied to Penn Trafford here, and possibly on other maps than as well. It doesn't really lend itself to the strengths of Winver's composition, but there's still enough disruption that they're able to apply to Thrasher here, and that's really going to help them get an edge late in these fights. That's a really clean pick, though, onto Timmy.
It is, but another nice one coming in from Anjus here now. And this is a now Winber going to be opening things up in their favor. Mr. Gary still looking for the clicks on to Furiat here in the back line. But in the meanwhile, all the picks coming through and a nice magnetic grenade taking Furiat out. This is great for Winber. They come back, take the point.
Yeah, absolutely. This back and forth is what we're going to see the entire afternoon as well. And, uh-oh, that's a Church Doomfist punch. Nice dodge as well. At the Meteor Strike, Thrasher's going to deploy it.
There's Deadeye coming in, and Basement and the Unknown Roses fall down. They do find two back in response. Just Penn Trafford, but the picks just keep rolling for Winber, as this is, again, the fight going the way of Winber.
So they're going to be able to equalize percentage. They have ultimates to fall back on, and this is after Thrasher had gone for Meteor Strike and Peridot had gone for the Pulse Bomb deployment. Basement will be coming into this with a sound barrier, which means they can survive, at least for a short moment, the Terra Surge or Sprazzy's Coalescence, but eventually that sound barrier health will dissipate and will lend itself to a really strong barrage from Timmy.
Yeah, so now they go into the fight. The punch comes through, but all they're going to be getting is a gold Orisa. takes out. Timmy's going in right on the top of Coop. Sound mirrors come through. It's the go sign for Penn Trafford, but they still haven't been able to find the picks. They might be able to take them down with the kunai. But Anjos finds a pick with their Terra Surge onto Period and still looking to take down Thrasher. And they do so with Timmy's rockets coming in from on high as the Ramblers are holding strong.
Really strong, and they've still got ultimates. Timmy was able to hold on to that barrage. They're getting huge picks in the neutral. There's so much pressure that Penn Trafford is suddenly under. It's possible that that first match against Forest Hills was a suitable warm-up, but it's also possible that that it's a little bit of a shock right now. How much more damage they're going to have to sustain? How much faster?
Oh no! Thrasher going into the well might have just. Basement might have turned it, but no. Basement already fell down before that could be a difference maker.
Basement might go.
But round number 1 goes to Winber. And now this is where we need to see, can Penn Trafford adapt? Because we haven't seen them be pushed like we're seeing them being pushed by Winber so far.
Why should we have had to? Penn Trafford is goated. I mean, you've got Peridot, King, Thrasher, Coops, for as much flack as we give Coops. Coops, thanks for being a good sport. I love watching these. I love watching these kids. And Basement, like, you've got Unknown Roses as well. You've got such an incredibly talented roster here from Penn Trafford. What is so dramatically different about this series?
I think that it is just the difference in tier of players. This Winber squad, like I said, is top 3 in the state of Pennsylvania, right? So this is a lot tougher task than some of the other teams in TEC, right? They've been able to play whatever they've wanted and get good work, and now they're going against a team that knows what they like to play. And I mean, already it's working out for them. They made the swap over to the Cassidy of their own, and well, Period is going crazy because of it.
Yeah, really, really clean connections and a nice, absolutely spectacular opening from Peridot. And honestly, if there's going to be a map that Penn Trafford deserves and honestly needs to win to have a chance on Ilios, it is going to be Lighthouse. Obviously, because Winver already has a point, but also like I don't know how good. I mean, I know how good the Penn Trafford's comp looked earlier on Ruins. I just don't know how good it looks on Ruins against Winver.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. Thrasher's already found Timmy in this fight, and that is huge. They might be able to just win this again here, unless Thrasher goes down. But Mr. Gary's found Unknown Roses, and Timmy's made the swap back over to the Pharah. This is going to be allow Winber to make a little bit more space, a little bit more timing for themselves here. They're going to be walking out, and Mr. Gary has found another pick. They are going to get punched into the wall and might be taken down here. Strike comes out, but not going to be able to find anyone. They do take down Sprazzy, however, and Thrasher's still up and healthy, but Mr. Gary can do no wrong. Finds more and more picks for the Winber squad. As they're going to find the Terra Surge, Unknown Roses goes down, and Anjos and Mr. Gary combine to take the point back.
I mean, that is insane, man. And that
I want to highlight
that sucks for Penn Trafford.
30 HP for Mr. Gary that entire time.
But that's the point, right, Joker? The longer the fight goes on, the more winnable it gets for Winber, because you have Mr. Gary peeling apart your formation in the background. It's absolutely nutty. And opening 2 picks here for this fight, Penn Trafford has to back up and reset. There's no way for them to go into this, and it's going to be even harder for them to go into this next fight, because you've got, despite Thrasher's level of activity against the supports of Winber, they still have both of their ultimates, because ultimates generate faster than they ever have for some reason. Aaron Keller, get it together. And Timmy's coming up with a barrage.
He's going to have the barrage for the walk-in onto the point. Well, not any longer. Yeah, he won't have barrage. Opportunity rushes come out, but sound barrier in response from GG Man, but the picks just keep going the way of Penn Trafford here, and just is very low. The Coalescence is going to try to keep them up, but they did walk away for the time being, and that is just going to be the point flipping back over, but it's very close.
Coops wants to be bullied today. Back on the main. Coops, what is the strat here? I jest. It's actually just a bit at this point. Coops on the May though is big, means that you actually get some like area of effect damage here. You might be able to get some group freezing and generate a lot of ult, and you really want this Blizzard very quickly. You still have to watch out for Team's Barrage. That's gonna be huge here. It is huge.
It is huge, but Period is going to be able to take them down immediately, but you needed to take down Thrasher first and foremost. Now with the Terror Surge coming in, and that's going to be a lot of damage coming out on top of them as Period is going to go off the side of the map as well. This is a nice re-engage from Winber, and having to invest only 2 ultimates is huge.
You are absolutely right about that. I was going to comment about that in the last fight, how Penn Trafford can manage to win that using just 2 of their ultimates. They'll have the Beat and the Deadeye here relatively soon. They have just enough time to build those before you have to engage in that last fight with them. But you got to watch out. Mr. Gary finding an opening pick and launching the Dragons.
That is massive yet again. Trying to find him is Thrasher. They do go down to Period, but a nice javelin from just shuts down the Deadeye. And this is down to last fight territory. 90 seconds to go. Mr. Gary's going to swap over to the Soldier 76 to get back to point. This is looking very close. Basement having the sound barrier is going to be huge, but Thrasher's so low, and Unknown Roses is out of the fight. This is not looking good at all. Coops is going to be able to find GG Man, though. Thrasher's so low, still alive, and another pick comes in, but the 2 come right back for Winber. Period still has an opportunity, but Angus is going crazy on the Battle Horse, and they're able to stave off the aggression as Winber take map number 1.
Okay, so I want to run through a couple of like a couple of key traits of Winber here that's giving them such a steep advantage, and then you guys in the watching and cheering on both of these squads, as both of these squads deserve, can start forming your own conclusions. For Winber, you have Gage's veteran experience. Gage probably is more familiar with the rest of the TEC teams and players than possibly I am. They've been playing on the team, I think, for what, 2.5 years now, maybe. You have Garrett's lethality, his pop-off potential. Again, the longer that fight goes on, if Garrett is alive, you're losing people. You're hemorrhaging resources trying to kill him, and you're losing manpower because that's who we can pick off. Especially considering that we're heading into Junkertown next, that's very scary here for Penn Trafford. For Timmy, you also have that kind of lethality, but it manifests itself more as a clutch factor. It's like Timmy is what we have when we have nothing else, and that's not to say that Timmy is like a back of the pocket, don't want to use first. It's more like Timmy has Garrett's back covered. If there is something that Garrett isn't aware of or isn't able to kill, Timmy's on top of it. And Sprazzy's survivability on Moira and Andrew's presence of mind on the tank. Winber has a lot of advantages going for them. Most of them, by the way, I'm so jealous of you guys. Most of it is natural, Joker. I've had to spend thousands of hours in Overwatch to get even barely as good as these kids are, and they're getting, oh boy, they're so incredibly talented that they can look so good. And that's not just Winber, Joker, that's going to be both of these teams. Penn Trafford also has advantages, but right now it doesn't look like it. Their backs are against the wall from Winber here, and I think that a big part of it isn't actually the pop-off potential from Timmy and Garrett. It's not actually the veteran experience or the survivability from the backline. I think it's actually Angus. Yeah, no, Angus is going crazy, right? Like, absolutely. And this is why I wanted to see the Orisa. Off the Doom? Yeah. And that's what I was also going to be wondering about. Like, are we going to see a Penn Trafford that can adapt? Like I said, Winber knew what Penn Trafford wanted to run, and they came out on a composition
that dealt with said that dealt with it. And now we're seeing Penn Trafford make some adaptations, and now we need to see, are they as good on this composition, or are they just kind of doing one tricks?
I can answer that question, Joker. Of course, they're good at the other looks, but against Wimber, maybe they don't get the chance to look like that. We'll have to see. Junkertown already underway. We got some very interesting hero picks. Timmy, what is the goal with the Tor York?
I mean, Thrasher's still looking good. I mean, some nice aim with those the spears. Nice javelin though from Anjas. Timmy's still going to be sticking on the Junker, not Junker. No, Junker. They're on the Junker Torb, yeah, which should be a skin if it's not. By the way, 3 ideas for you. Anjas has made the swap over to the Sigma here as well, making sense trying to deal with that. Even though I would kind of prefer the Orisa but for right now, to deal with the high ground advantage that Penn Trafford have. It is going to help them in the long run as Mr. Gary is going to be able to take down Coops, but Period is currently in the back line fully for going to help take the couple of players out for Penn Trafford. This should be enough. Basement is very low, going to get taken down by Anjas. And now with the respawns coming back, this could be a really big Sprazy. Very low though, but gonna be able to fade away, still get some healing, stay alive, but they're gonna have to back up now as Penn Trafford for a moment.
Mr. Gary already has the Dragons. Timmy already the Molten Core. There's support ultimates on the side of Penn Trafford as well, with the Dragons released. A little bit of pressure sustained there by Coops. Thrasher incredibly low as well. One by one, Penn Trafford starts falling. I like the nano boost here onto the Greater Flux, and it makes it a really meaty ultimate on top of that. Thrasher walking away with 3 picks, possibly 4 or 5. Let Thrasher have the ace. Let him.
Nope. No ace. Not allowed.
I'm done saying nice things about Peridot for the rest of the day.
Not allowed. No, thank you.
No more nice things.
But the big thing is going into this next fight for Wimber, they have ultimates to go on. They've got the Molten Core. They've got their Flux of their own, and they've already found Period out with a nice shot from coming in from Mr. Gary. With the Molten Core now coming in, invested early on. Healing is there, but you might need to pop the Coalescence early. Coalescence comes in from Unknown Roses. Are we going to see a counter one coming in from Sprazy? No, we're not right just yet. Overclock coming in from Period as well. Just going to be kind of met with a kinetic grasp. Timmy is going to go down, and Sprazy held on to that Coalescence and not going to be able to find any value because of it. And now this is looking a little bit less well for Wimber at the moment, but maybe not, especially if you can find the pick on the basement here, as Mr. Gary does find Period with a very late kill with the Dragon Strike, but in the end, it's still going to be Penn Trafford holding on.
Thrasher on this Doomfist has been absolutely massive. Penn Trafford has looked fantastic on this composition. Unknown Roses is living. Basement is not letting themselves get walked on as well, and they've got ultimates to fall back on. This is an easy send us to map 3, take us to push, especially without Sprazy here on the roster for Penn Trafford. A full hold coming right up.
Yeah, it's definitely looking good for him. Timmy's got on the onto Genji here. Artillery Strike is out, and Timmy's gone down. This should be the end of it all. GG man no longer there as well. Yeah, that should just be it. With all the picks going their way. The Flux into the air in celebration as the full hold comes in from Penn Trafford.
How about you know what they say, Joker? The full hold on any escort map is a relatively uncomplicated endeavor. And to that end, it's quite possible that we see Winber able to muster up a fuller hold of their own, but without being able to apply any amount of disruption onto Basement and Unknown Roses, who are very quietly and very subtly and very effectively, might I add, pulling the strings of these team fights. I found myself really looking for Angus to cut off lines of sights with the barrier, for a little bit less focus to be on Thrasher and a lot more emphasis placed on slowly claiming space to eventually box in those supports, right? That's how you want to approach this Jarka Town, especially with some of its changes. You've got some really nice chokeholds that you can force players into when you're looking at the shack that's on the left side of the screen here, or the water tower, or even further back. I mean, it's almost always safer in than it is out. And so for Winber to not have been able to push in to Penn Trafford is a real testament to their defensive strengths. Now we have to see their offense in the action. And if it's anything like Ilios, then we know that they'll suffer, at least for a little bit, here on this attacking phase.
Period has gone over the... Ooh, and almost lined up the shot. Might actually have, because like you said, there is that range nerf from on the Widowmaker now, so you can't really snipe across maps any longer. But we're seeing if Period can, no, they're just going to be trying for that headshot.
Sojourn now.
We are going to go over to the Tracer here. But now Thrasher's trying to wrap around, and well, they've already done so, and going right onto Mr. Gary. But the peel there from the rest of their team, just denying everything from Thrasher. But they do lose Timmy in the midst of it all, which is not what you wanted to see. Now you don't have that sheer presence of the Bastion any longer. The punch did come through, and Unknown Roses is going to go down. This is going to be the hold, I would have to say, with Mr. Gary landing to another headshot, another kill coming through on the group.
Wild, man.
As they're just going to be able to hold on here already. The fourth pick in the fight for Mr. Gary.
It's actually one of those days that I end up kind of mad at myself after the series concludes, because it's been so long, Joker, since we've seen Winber here on the channel, that oh my god, I just forgot how good they were. Fortunately, I've been blessed enough to watch enough Penn Trafford this season to kind of make up for it. But Winber's just so good. That's a really nice Peridot pick, though.
Yeah, especially with how especially with how disappointing last series was in the fall for Winber. They are definitely on a revenge arc, and we're definitely seeing it from Mr. Gary, because I mean they just can't seem to miss right now.
No, they are not missing. There are unironically times where I'm watching Mr. Gary, and I'm like, bro, someone's got to check your PC, man. That's a meaty enhanced punch, though, and getting Gage out of the fight is a big win con.
It really is. But if Winber can stabilize during that, but Timmy goes down. It's huge. Dragon Strike could turn it back, and Unknown Roses falling down is massive. The picks just keep coming through from both of these two squads. The Flux might have been able to hold on for a little bit longer to allow GG Mean back, and they are there now with their teleport to be able to stay alive, and Mr. Gary is just doing Mr. Gary things, finding another pick. They finally take them down, but the damage has been done, and they're able to hold on yet again, only having to invest 2 ultimates, and they have 3 to boot.
Yeah, and for Basement, you had committed the Tree of Life. You've got the Kitsune Rush to counter Gages if you are Penn Trafford. Hoops will have the Blizzard. We talked about that being a big win condition earlier. Basement might go down here, and that's huge for Winber.
That's massive, and now Unknown Roses falls down as well.
Just got to die and get out.
You gotta die and get out. Period is gonna find Mr. Gary, which is massive for the long run. If they can get in the engage before they're back from Swan, that's massive.
It's scary though because Mr. Gary might be able to get back at a time when Penn Trafford is already engaged, and so there's a pick to secure as soon as he gets back out. I'm a little bit worried for both teams.
Rush is coming in for both the teams, and Anjust is down. Basement falls down though, but the supports are gone, and this is all but over. It'd have to seem, especially if Mr. Gary falls down here, and they are indeed. We are headed to that fabled map 3 here, Lord Thethan, and would it be any other way?
No, this is the series that deserves a map 3, and it makes me so uncomfortable because neither of these teams, to me, deserve a loss. Mr. Gary is playing out of his mind. The rest of the team, we talked about the peel, is there for them as well. The shots are connecting, sure, but it's really more about the team-wide response from Winbur that we've been seeing based on how Penn Trafford is playing. And Thrasher, I mean, that last fight, seeing Thrasher so, even to me, who I yap to player after player about never dismissing any one of the infinite possibilities of Overwatch, but even for me, who yaps about that to people, I was astounded at what I would have previously considered inconceivable enablement of Thrasher to win that last fight, and arguably the most meaningful fight in this series on Junkertown. And now heading into New Junk City, Penn Trafford with a little bit of wind behind their sails, some recovery from, honestly, what should have and probably did feel like a little bit of a devastating loss on Ilios. Now getting serious and locked in on a map that favors their composition. Winbur is disadvantaged this map. That's my assertion.
Fully about that. I mean, we know that the Flashpoint game mode is about speed, but New Junk City as a map is very much in the brawl sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's so, especially if we go back to the Orisa that we were seeing from Anjust, I think this looks really good for Winbur.
Think any team runs Queen here?
That is also something that could be in the cards. I don't think that's what we see,
okay,
we're seeing Winbur go back to really what won them that first map. Mm-hmm. That or the Pharah and Mr. Gary just doing Mr. Gary thing, and obviously just on the Orisa as well.
Hoops on the Sombra is a little bit worrying in that regard. Then.
What are we?
Oh, I'm willing to bet you the tank health pool is not correct.
Oh yeah, we need to turn this up. Reset.
It's so silly. It's that
back to lobby.
It's that passive.
No, they were on the.
They call it
April Fool's mood.
Oh, they were. Oh. There's a setting in the custom games. It's so obnoxious. It's like a tank passive health bonus. You usually find it in the modes section, and it's very silly. It's a very silly idea that depending on if you are in roll queue or open queue, the tank roll passive health bonus is like enabled or disabled, so your tank has less health than they actually should. So yeah, that's the weird thing.
I don't know where it would be. Do you know where it would be?
Actually, our producer's looking right at it, and it says tank roll passive health bonus, 1 tank, 2 offense, 2 support.
Yeah, but
roll locked as well. So
they said it was the
April Fool's patch.
Yes. So how would they get on?
Yeah, I've got no clue. It's possible that like
competitive
jumping
rules
back in fixes
competitive rules.
Fixes the issue.
It?
Custom game lobbies have. I was watching some old recordings the other day, uploading scrim recordings to some unlisted links, and I came upon some Overwatch 1 scrim recordings, and looking at how different the custom game lobby is quite marvelous. I sometimes forget that Overwatch 2 has been out for what, we're coming up on 2 years now, aren't we, Joker?
Oh God, has it been 2 years already?
Maybe, maybe.
And the answer to your question is yes, they do allow skins in OWCS.
Yeah, yeah.
Man can man.
Everyone likes their skins.
Yeah, but I think I genuinely don't know how to change things. I think I'm fine.
Like I said, it's possible that just like hopping back in kind of fixes itself. But we'll have to see.
Yeah,
Um,
well, the only real way to know is if we go into the game and kill the problem, right?
Yeah.
And we could always just ask them to check if everything's fine now, right?
Well, here in about 15 seconds, they'll be able to start locking in their characters, and so we'll get to see one way or another if they are if the game is normal, if it's a regular game of Overwatch, which could any game of Overwatch really be called regular? It looks like things are definitely correct. The health pools look definitely a lot meatier now that Angus and Thrasher have locked in on their signature heroes. Angus on the Orisa and Thrasher on the Doomfist. Joker, before we got disrupted, you were talking about how good this map is for those brawl-style compositions. Definitely from Penn Trafford, it can play a little bit more divey, but for me, Coops being able to disrupt the brawl that we're gonna see. Oh, we're still in April Fools. Huh. All right. Well, you know what? I think Joker then. We might just send to a short break, get this sorted out, and
into a break, get back to lobby.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure it out.
On the other side of a short break.
Yeah, we'll be right back. right, everyone, we're back after a little deliberation, a little figuring some things out. I think we've got it ready for ya to go into this map here.
I think everything's right. The health pools certainly look correct, and as long as the Lucio players aren't able to boot themselves into the air or backwards, then we should be all good. Gonna get confirmation from the Lucios, who might try to use that sound wave here in spawn. Okay, we are getting the all clear. By the way, I actually want to get a little bit of ire off of our producer. I've run custom game lobbies, Joker, on like almost every single day for several hours, and I've never seen what we just saw before. Never in my entire life. So it looks like a season 10 bug to me. I reiterate once again, Aaron Keller, what are you doing?
Small indie company.
Exactly. I'm actually a huge fan of Aaron Keller and Jared Ness. I think Overwatch. I think modern Overwatch leadership is a lot better than the old one, but that's a different conversation for a different day. There's a series to wrap up, and a stressful one at that. If you are a Winber fan, you are starting to sweat a little bit, especially now that there's been a little bit of downtime contributed to the team dynamic. Some rest and relaxation, perhaps not the best for this highly competitive environment. And I think that the health pools are actually wrong again. So we actually, oh no. So we actually got to, we'll have to reset the lobby, restart the match one final time with that correction. And then we'll be able to officially jump into this match. Joker, absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic that the custom game modes aren't working quite as we would like. Again, these are all known bugs, actually. There's been a Joker, like I said, there's been a little bit of downtime here, and so because of that, there isn't much to currently talk about, but there is probably some to reiterate on. We talked a little bit about Winber's advantages, the strengths that they have that will help them really finalize this match, and we got to talk about Penn Trafford's edges as well, and the things that they are going to be able to do to match against Winber, the things that they were able to accomplish on on Junkertown in the first place. New Junk City is our current map, and in particular, the same way that we see Winber fold around Garrett whenever he comes under pressure, that's the same way that we've been seeing Penn Trafford fold around Thrasher, but where Winber is defensive, Penn Trafford is highly offensive. And so you have this clash of styles where you have a highly formidable, highly aggressive style of gameplay, and you have a more methodical, not cautious, but defensive. Like you're just hard to break through. You have you're a Dungeons and Dragons paladin with an aura of courage and a shield that gives you a +3 to your armor class. I mean, it's just so hard to move past Angus when he's putting himself into all of the faces of your biggest threats on Penn Trafford. So for both teams, this is going to be possibly a little bit challenging. I anticipated before having to set before having to reset lobby, I was saying that I think that actually Winber here is the one going to be playing at a disadvantage. But now again with the downtime and confusion, it's possible that that both teams are going to be operating on that disadvantage. What's interesting here is that actually the players have made the call to operate with the nerfed health as opposed to restart. So Joker, what we're actually going to see is a bout between, I think it is a 375 health Doomfist and a 475 health point Orisa.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting, and I don't know how this is going to work out for either of the two teams, but they've both agreed, so you can't, no takes you back, please.
Yeah, sure.
As we're going to see Thrasher move over to the Orisa to at least try to make it comparable in this fight now as they're going to go in here. Still waiting it out. The fight's going to break out, and the picks are going the way. Hey, Period is going to be able to find GG Man. The trade comes back onto Thrasher, though, still trying to hold out for the moment, but not looking like it will, as Period is going to fall down As they're still rotating in. Coops goes down. Mr. Gary just keep finding the shots, and that is going to be the fight going away yet again.
Oh no, and we have some some disconnects as well from Penn Trafford.
Oh, they all left.
Interesting. Okay, gotcha. So we are we're gonna send to Uh-oh. I think we're going to end up rescheduling Joker at this last map because we do have other series to bring for us. In fact, it was going to be about 15 minutes ago that we brought you guys the Most Shannon Valley versus Salisbury Elk game. So we'll end up figuring that out, at least for now. Put a pin in this match and keep its unresolved outcome in the back of your brain, because hopefully it's us, Joker, but it's a possibility that we see another caster duo cover the exciting conclusion to this series. At least for now, going to end off on a cliffhanger. Joker, any final thoughts on this particular matchup and the way that it might conclude before sending off to a short break?
Yeah, we're going to head to a short little break here. Stick around for the last series of the afternoon. You're not going to want to miss that. All right, everyone. Unfortunate news. The game between Most Shannon Valley and Salisbury Elk Lick has been moved over to the second stream, which we will be rating any second now. Well, after we finish this off, the TEC High School group. And then the third match, or the third map between Penn Trafford and Windward will be played versus on the next week on hopefully this stream, so we'll be able to catch it and bring you that action. But for it is going to end here and now of this stream. Again, the Tech High School group has the game that was supposed to be happening here on that stream. So stick around. We're going to rate it over there. Thank you all for watching. It has been me, Joker's Ransom, him, Lord Thethan, and wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful rest of your day.